The whisper in the rain. Rain poured relentlessly, drenching Hollow Creek's empty streets. Mary clutched her umbrella, the wind tugging it violently. The flickering streetlights cast eerie shadows, and the usual bustle was replaced by a suffocating silence. Her boots splashed through puddles as she hurried home. But then she saw it, a figure, barely visible at the edge of an alley. It didn't move, didn't flinch, its silhouette unnaturally rigid. Mary hesitated, her pulse quickening. "Hello?" she called, her voice barely audible over the storm. The figure stood still, too still. Mary's grip on the umbrella tightened as she forced herself to move. She quickened her pace, refusing to look back. But as she turned the corner, she heard it, a faint crunch of footsteps in the puddles behind her. She froze, her breath caught in her throat. Slowly she turned, but the alley was empty. The footsteps stopped. "It's just the rain," she whispered to herself. But then she heard it again. Closer this time, and with it, a faint whisper, "Mary." Her stomach dropped. The umbrella fell from her hands as she ran, her boots slipping on the wet pavement. Up ahead, the faint glow of a diner's neon sign beckoned her. She dashed inside, slamming the door behind her. The diner was empty, its dusty booths long abandoned. The air was heavy, the flickering lights casting long shadows. On the counter sat a steaming coffee cup, untouched. Beside it lay a journal, its leather cover cracked with age. Mary hesitated before approaching. Her name was etched on the cover in faded gold letters, along with a date, July 3rd, 1986. She hadn't even been born then. Her hands trembled as she opened it. The pages were filled with writing that mirrored her own, describing events from her life no one else could know. She flipped to the last page, which was blank. Slowly, words appeared, written in jagged ink. "Do not follow him." A loud creak shattered the silence. Mary's head snapped up. At the far end of the diner stood the figure, its glowing eyes locked on her. She stumbled back, knocking over a chair, her breath shallow as it took a step forward. The lights flickered violently. They steadied, the figure was gone. But the whisper returned, louder and echoing. "Mary!" The journal grew hot in her hands, its pages flipping wildly on their own. One word appeared repeatedly: "Run." She turned and bolted for the back door, but it wouldn't budge. Her screams were swallowed by the storm. Finally, the door gave way and she fell into the rain-soaked street. The journal landed in the water, its ink dissolving like blood. When she looked up, the figure was there, translucent in the rain, its eyes glowing brighter than before. It raised an arm, pointing at her. "You took what was never yours," it said, its voice hollow like the wind. Don't miss the next chapter. Like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell to follow this thrilling tale.